Beauty and the Beast. There was once a rich merchant who had 3 daughters. All 3 were very lovely, especially the youngest one, who is known as Beauty or otherwise as Belle. While the 2 elder sisters spent their days going to balls and parties to show off their wealth, Beauty preferred to stay home most of the time. She enjoyed helping her father, and above all, she loved to read. But when the father suddenly lost his entire fortune, the family was forced to move to a small country house, their only remaining property. There, the father had no choice but to work the land. Beauty would get up in the morning, clean the house, make lunch, help her father, and still find time to read. Her 2 sisters, on the other hand, would wake up at noon, eat lunch, and go out for a stroll. What a dull life our silly sister leads, they said to one another. She is obviously good for nothing but washing dishes. And why does she bother reading so much anyway? She'll only end up marrying some local boor. A year after they moved, the father decided to travel to the city to buy some things he needed. But as he was riding through the woods, he got lost and night fell. It began to snow and a bitter wind was blowing. He could hear wolves howling, and they seemed to be moving closer and closer to him. Frightened, he rode at a gallop towards the only light he could see at a distance. It was coming from a majestic castle. He arrived at the castle and knocked on the door, but nobody answered. He went inside and searched every room, but found no sign of human inhabitants. Nevertheless, he did find everything he needed: a hearty fire, an abundant meal, a magnificent bed, and even clean clothing and a delicious breakfast in the morning. He also found some lovely roses in the garden, so he bent to pick them for his daughter. Grrr! He suddenly heard a terrifying growl behind him. You ungrateful wretch! I saved your life. I welcome you to my castle. I gave you everything you needed, and top of it all, you dared to steal my roses. I will kill you! When the man turned around, he saw the most horrible beast imaginable. So dreadful and frightful was this creature that the man nearly fainted. Excuse me, sir, he managed to say. I only wanted to take some roses for my daughters. They love me so. If they truly love you, then they won't hesitate to give their lives for you. If one of your daughters offers to die in your place, I shall forgive you. Otherwise, you will pay me with your life. You have a week to decide. When the man got home and told his daughters of his unfortunate adventure, the 2 elder daughters quickly came up with 1,000 excuses. Only Beauty was willing to offer her life for her father. The 2 set off for the castle. The beast was impressed by both the girl's noble gesture and by her beauty. Instead of killing her, he prepared the best room, the finest delicacies, and the loveliest clothing for her. And one night during dinner, he finally found the courage to raise a question that had been troubling him. I know that I am extremely ugly and not very intelligent. I know that I'm a horrible beast. But do you think that one day you might love me anyway? He asked. Truthfully, I have not given any thought to love, she excused herself. But you may be sure of my friendship. And so 3 months passed. Every night at dinner, the beast would talk to Beauty, and each day Beauty discovered more of the monster's virtues. Will you marry me? The beast finally asked one night. I love you so much. Promise me, at least, that you will never leave me. I cannot promise you that, Beauty admitted. I long terribly to see my poor father and my sisters. Knowing that he might lose her forever, the beast nevertheless allowed Beauty to visit her family. Her father welcomed her with open arms and told her that her two sisters had married. One had married a young man who was very handsome, but so vain that he spent all his days looking at himself in the mirror. The other had married a young man who was very intelligent, but so cruel that he only used his intelligence to make others suffer. Therefore, I should not look for only beauty or intelligence in the man who will become my husband, thought Beauty, but for goodness and generosity as well. The beast has both of these virtues. I will return to him. But when she arrived at the castle, Beauty could not find the beast in the sitting room nor in any other rooms. Finally, she found him lying in a corner of the garden near death. I thought you would never return, and I decided to let myself die, he whispered weakly. I love you so, Beauty. I love you too. Please don't die. I will be your wife. No sooner had she pronounced these words than something incredible happened. The castle lit up, sweet music began to play, and the beast's body turned into that of the most handsome prince imaginable. Thank you, Beauty, for freeing me from the spell. And the prince went on to tell her how by magic he had been cursed to seem both dim-witted and horribly ugly, until a beautiful young woman agreed to marry him. The same fairy who had cast the spell suddenly appeared before the couple. Beauty, you are capable of putting goodness before beauty and false intelligence. As a reward, you shall become an honorable princess. And with a wave of her magic wand, the fairy made Beauty's father and sisters appear. To the father, the fairy gave a chest filled with gold so that he could get a new start as a merchant. As for the sisters, she turned them into statues. You will remain at the door of your sister's palace as witnesses to her happiness, she said to them. You will return to your original forms only when you recognize the error of your ways. The story goes on to say that Beauty married the prince and that they lived very happily together. As for their sisters, nobody knows how long they remained as statues. The end. Thank you for watching.